James Madison, 1751 to 1836, delegate from Virginia, signer of the Constitution. James Madison was born in Virginia. A frail and sickly boy, he went to the College of New Jersey, now Princeton University, where he studied Latin, Greek, and theology, read the Enlightenment philosophers, and took classes in speech to hone his debate skills. By 1775, as the colonies neared separation from Britain, Madison found his calling in politics. He joined the Orange County Committee on Safety, and the following year attended the Virginia Convention to draft a state constitution. Serving the Congress in the early 1780s, he saw a problem. The Confederation Congress had no power to ensure that the states provided the supplies needed to win the war. As a remedy, he proposed that the Articles of Confederation be amended to allow Congress to raise revenue through tariffs on imports. Both Alexander Hamilton and General Washington supported this proposal, but it failed to win the approval of all 13 states. This lesson in the weakness of the Articles led him to help organize the Mount Vernon Conference and attend the Annapolis Convention, early steps towards the judgment that the Articles of Confederation were inadequate. Madison was a key member of the Virginia delegation to the Constitutional Convention. Eager to see changes made in the country's governance, Madison arrived early to Philadelphia. Determined to set the agenda for the debates, he arrived with a carefully thought-out proposal. His Virginia plan called for 3 branches of government, similar to the structure of the British government, and proposed to give that government the power to tax, to regulate commerce, and to create a uniform American currency. In short, he sought the energetic government favored by his fellow nationalists. During those months of debate, Madison's voice was one of the 3 most frequently heard. He took the floor more than 150 times, third only to Pennsylvania's Gouverneur Morris and James Wilson. He also served on numerous committees, including the Committee on Postponed Matters, which brought the Electoral College into being. Madison signed the Constitution on September 17, 1787. He would enjoy the last word. Despite pledging not to keep a record of what was said and done by the delegates, Madison took copious notes, which were later published and are recognized today as the best history of the convention. After the convention, he joined with Alexander Hamilton and John Jay to produce the strongest pro-Constitution arguments during the battle over ratification, the Federalist Papers. While the essays were written to persuade New York's convention to support ratification, they provided supporters of ratification in many states with the talking points they needed to overwhelm their opponents. Madison led the Federalist forces in the key state of Virginia, where he was pitted against Patrick Henry, governor of the state, an ardent foe of the new government. It was a blow to the anti-Federalist movement when the convention finally endorsed the Constitution. Soon after Madison was sworn in as a member of the new U.S. House of Representatives, he proposed the adoption of a Bill of Rights. But the Federalist majority viewed his proposal as a nuisance that would interfere with more important issues, while the anti-Federalists in the House demanded amendments that would restore state supremacy. But Madison persisted in the face of all opposition and mockery, and Congress proposed 12 amendments to the states. By 1791, 10 were added to the Constitution, later becoming known as the Bill of Rights. At the Constitutional Convention, and in the push for ratification through publication of the Federalist Papers, Madison and Hamilton had functioned as a team devoted to the creation of an empowered national government. But Hamilton's economic policies during Washington's administration drove a wedge between them. And in the early 1790s, Madison abandoned his earlier nationalism, joining with his friend Thomas Jefferson to form an opposition party committed to states' rights. Madison became President of the United States in 1809, accompanied by his vivacious and politically astute wife, Dolly. In 1812, amid revived tensions, the United States declared war on Britain, though Madison's country was ill-equipped to wage or win the conflict. In 1814, the two countries signed a treaty that gave neither combatant any advantages. However, 2 weeks after the treaty was signed, Andrew Jackson won an impressive victory over British troops in New Orleans, and this was lauded by Americans as proof that they had won the war. When his second term ended, Madison mainly tended to his Montpelier plantation and devoted long hours to editing his journal for the Constitutional Convention. He did, however, keep a hand in local politics, serving as co-chair of Virginia's Constitutional Convention from 1829 to 1830. He died in 1836, aged 85.